On a summer evening in Texas, families lined up for thrills. One ride towered above the park, the new Texas Giant. It promised speed, fear, and safety, but minutes later, a rider's seat returned empty. But the lap bar was still locked. The question was, where was the passenger? Six Flags Over Texas, the 212-acre theme park located in Arlington, Texas, was the original Six Flags theme park, opened in August of 1961. Planning for the park began in 1959 after wealthy real estate developer Angus Wynne had visited Disneyland and decided his home state of Texas should also have a grand theme park. The park opened to great success, with more than 500,000 guests in its first year. Fast forward to 1990, the park saw the opening of one of its most iconic rides, the Texas Giant. Reaching a maximum height of 143 feet, the ride opened as the world's tallest wooden coaster. It was well received and twice won Best Wooden Coaster in the annual Golden Ticket Awards in 1998 and 1999. However, the ride would eventually suffer declining popularity as it gained a negative reputation for its increasing roughness, a common issue among older wooden roller coasters. The ride was closed in 2009 through to 2011 when it underwent an 18-month refurbishment. Much of the original wooden structure was kept, but the wood track was replaced with steel using RMC's iBox track technology, and thus the ride reopened as the new Texas Giant. The ride was once again well received, winning the Best New Ride in the 2011 Golden Ticket Awards. It would, however, shortly be at the center of one of the park's worst incidents. On the 19th of July 2013, 52-year-old Rosa Esparza visited Six Flags Over Texas, along with other members of her family. In the early evening of that same day, the three decided they would ride the new Texas Giant roller coaster. Rosa sat alone in the back, while the other two rode together in the front. Riders are secured by a lap bar that locks down over the rider's thigh. Once riders take their seats, a ride operator inspects each car to ensure the lap bar is locked in place. Indicator lights on a control panel will illuminate to confirm all lap bars are secured. It's important to note, while there was a lap bar, the ride has no seatbelts. When the Six Flags employee checked Rosa's restraint, they felt it was a little high or not as tight as it should be. This was put down to her larger build and the feeling that the restraints possibly couldn't lower any further because of it. As the control panel indicated all restraints had locked, the cars were allowed to depart. According to an eyewitness in the car directly behind Rosa, there were smiles and laughter as the ride began. When they entered the first drop, however, the laughter turned to screams. As the ride descended the first drop, in a moment of absolute terror, Rosa lifted from her seat as the lap bar failed to hold her. According to one rider, as they hit the first bunny hop, Rosa fell head to the floor with her feet skyward. When they reached the third ascent into the turn, she was flung 75 feet, striking a support beam and instantly lost her life. Cody Rush, in the car directly behind Rosa, said of the remainder of the ride, "We were holding on to each other and praying. That was the longest roller coaster ride of my life." When the ride finally returned to the station, Rosa's lap bar was still in the closed position. However, one employee, according to a police report, said the lap bar may have been higher than when the ride first departed. In the immediate aftermath of the tragedy, the ride was closed for 2 months pending an investigation. The medical examiner determined the 52-year-old grandmother's death was caused by multiple traumatic injuries and the death was ruled an accident. It's worth noting that in Texas, There is no federal oversight that regulates park safety. There are only two requirements. The ride must meet the manufacturer's specifications, and the park must have at least a $1 million insurance policy per ride to cover the cost of an accident. The Arlington Police Department conducted an investigation to rule out criminal negligence in the days following the incident. The investigation into the cause of the accident itself, however, in accordance with Texas law, would be conducted by Six Flags themselves. Throughout the police investigation, several people came forward with information about the event. According to a police report, one rider claimed to have heard a popping sound as the ride descended the first drop moments before the incident. Another guest sent police a video where they claimed their lap bar had opened after locking before the ride departed, with a distinct popping sound audible in the video just days before the accident. With police satisfied criminal misconduct was not a factor, the park was left to conduct the investigation to find the cause of the accident. Experts speculated the victim's size may have contributed to the accident. Either she slipped free from the restraint, or the locking mechanism failed and the lap bar opened. However, as witnesses claimed the lap bar was in the closed position when the ride ended, the latter seemed less likely. The family of Rosa Esparza sued both Six Flags Amusements and the manufacturer of the cars used on the roller coaster, German-based company Gerstlauer, for compensation. Six Flags and Gerstlauer filed counterclaims against each other. Six Flags claimed the design was dangerous, but Gerstlauer said that Six Flags employees failed to secure the victim and had not used the test seat offered to guarantee that riders could safely fit inside the vehicle. In the end, the three parties struck an out-of-court settlement, with the victim's family receiving an undisclosed compensation. An investigation conducted by Six Flags, with the assistance of Gerstlauer, found that no mechanical failure played a part in the accident. Following the incident, Six Flags added redesigned lap bar restraint pads, as well as seat belts and a test seat at the ride entrance so guests can now check they fit the ride safely. It's impossible to say if stricter regulations and third-party ride inspections would have revealed the ride's flaws in securing heavier riders. Nonetheless, one thing is certain. Thanks to the modifications made to the ride following the accident, a similar incident is unlikely to ever happen again. That's all for today's video. If you found value in it, I'd love it if you subscribed and joined me for the next one. And as always, thanks for watching.